Welcome back. I am standing in the Grocery Road Gardens, and as you can tell, it's been dry. We're coming into fall, and normally things are starting to go to sleep right now, but generally we have very wet July, August, and into September, and we didn't get that this year. We got very little rain. So instead of planting a fall crop in here like I normally would, I just decided to let it live on the rainfall that we had. It's not ideal. I could have put tons of turnips in here, but I would have to bring some irrigation out, so I didn't. And we're still gonna hit about 2,000 pounds of food this year, as we haven't dug up the cassava, we haven't dug up the yams, and I haven't even weighed all the sweet potatoes that are curing on the porch. But I wanted to show you what we do to put the Grocery Road Gardens to sleep for the year, in case you're attempting this bold and incredible and amazing and 1000% original system. And you know, and you could just follow me around and do whatever I'm doing, or maybe something better after the fountain. At this time of year, if I don't get down here and start weeding pretty quickly, we end up with problems. Now we've still got these bits and pieces of summer weeds like these spurges. They're not really that lush this year because we didn't get much rain. And I don't like to mulch when it's not raining. My normal mode of operation, other than getting bit by fire ants, is to come out and to weed everything out, you know, the big stuff in particular, and then smother all the small stuff with a layer of mulch. So we have this hay, which we put down earlier in the year, that keeps a lot of the seeds from germinating, but it's getting a little bit thin. And as you can see here, see these little green weeds that are popping up right here? These are the weeds of winter. These are your henbits and chickweed and geraniums, wild geraniums, things like that. Now, many of these are edible, but if I let them grow in here, they become an absolute pain in the neck. So what I do is I go through and I harvest out the stuff that we know is, you know, the ends of the summer harvest. That's funny, I've just made one gigantic one, looks like, and then one weeny one. No, there's more. Wait, there's more. So I come through and then I like to mulch and layer. Now the reason I haven't done the mulch earlier, before these weeds even started germinating, was because it's been so dry. And what happens when you mulch over dry ground is that it takes longer for it to get wet underneath with the rain. So when it's dry, I don't like to put down a thick layer of mulch, because if we get a light rain, it doesn't even necessarily get through the mulch layer. But what I'm gonna have to do this year is just go ahead and mulch anyways, because we still have no rain coming in the forecast for 10 days or so. I mean, that might change, but it's been a very disappointing season. Normally at the time when all of my tropical stuff is really going to its peak, like these cassava, which are actually quite drought tolerant, they should have been bigger and happier and healthier, even than this, if we had gotten more rain. Because their active, heavy growing season is right then when all your spring vegetables are giving up. That's when the cassava and the yams and the sweet potatoes and everything really start running. And if we had had good rainfall, they would have been much bigger. It's not good for the fruit trees either, because they should be cooled down and they should be getting some regular rain. The mulch helps, but there's a point at which you just don't have enough rain. And I could, you know, like I said, come through here and run irrigation. Normally what I would do is clear out all of this, the rest of these sweet potato vines, track down the last sweet potatoes through here, pull them all out, feed them to the pigs and chickens or compost them, and then come in here and do another layer, you know, make little pockets in the mulch, and then plant in some transplants that we started somewhere else, or plant some directly in. And I would have all these winter vegetables through here, but I would have to run the hose over here or run sprinklers And so instead of doing it here, I just have a few beds that are closer to the house that give us enough greens and stuff that I can just go and spray them with a hose over there occasionally right out the back of the kitchen door. And you know, that's more convenient. So the grocery rows, I'm making less work for myself because there hasn't been rain and it doesn't look like there's rain coming. I just am harvesting out the stuff from here and just letting the rest of it sit for now. If we got a good rainfall, I would put some in, because it actually takes about a month or so to dry out after a good rain because of all the mulch and the nice mounded soil. There's good organic matter in here. There's some manure in here from last season and everything. It holds a lot of water, but it's even just become too dry for that. So we'll just wait and see. It's interesting to see too, like which plants survive. If you guys don't have Everglades tomatoes, for example, the Everglades tomatoes have gone through the entire year and they're still making fruit. And now, for those of you that don't live in the deep south, this is probably no big surprise, because you have those incredible indeterminate tomatoes that are making giant beefsteaks for the entire summer and into fall until you get your first freeze. It's not like that here. Here, usually you put a tomato in the ground, and just about the time it starts to look really good, it gets hot, or it gets too wet, or it gets too dry, or it gets too dry, and then it pours, and then the bugs come and destroy everything, and the tomatoes split. It's a pain in the neck to grow tomatoes here in general, but these guys are like a weed tomato, and as a matter of fact, if I just leave some on the ground, they probably self-seeded everywhere. They just are like they're indestructible tomato, and also when it's dry, they taste amazing, because it concentrates that tart, sweet flavor. Really good tomato. If you don't have Everglades tomato, it's unbelievable. I'll put a link to my daughter's seed shop, because that's how she pays for her gas money, Everglades tomato seeds. So what I should be doing right now, and what I'm going to be doing this week, is coming through here, and I can just go ahead and mulch over these little green weeds that are starting to pop up. If I let these weeds come up, they'll seed, and then when I do want to put vegetables in here, they'll always be competing with these. So what you want to do is get your weeds out and then mulch the area. If it had been rainy, all of this ground would be covered with weeds right now, but it's not, because it's been so dry. Still, we're getting some of those fall and winter weeds popping up. I eat the greens out of our yard, but I don't like to let the really weedy stuff grow in here, because I want to reserve it for better things. So if I don't want to have to fight with them in the spring, this is the time when I mulch. And you can mulch with anything. You can mulch with fall leaves. You can mulch with unsprayed hay if you can find it. This is important. If you get any long-term herbicides in your hay, it'll kill your whole garden. So don't get that. You can use your grass clippings. You can use wood chips if you can get them. Some people use chip drop and they have good luck with it. Other people don't ever have any luck with it. But if you can get wood chips, those are great too. And then you just mulch your pathways. Again, make sure the big weeds are out. And, you know, things like little popcorn tree seedlings that start themselves in here. You know, yank all these things out. I don't want them growing. And then you have a blank slate for the spring. And maybe some of you guys just irrigate. I mean, if you're in a dry area, this is generally not a dry area. Generally, we do just fine on rainfall all the way through the season. So this is out of the ordinary. So with an out of the ordinary season, it's not necessarily enough to convince me I need to run pipes all over here, but it just is what it is. So we're not going to work too hard. I mean, you could see I've got sugarcane that grew earlier in the season. It looks very happy. This mulberry grew, man, 12 feet this year. And that was in the early part of the year. So we had plenty of rain earlier. It's not that worrisome. It just is what it is. And I really don't feel like walking around with a hose. So I keep my little garden area going just so we have enough greens. And we're still eating stuff that we pulled in from earlier in the year. And this too will pass. We should have a nice wet winter and then a good spring of new stuff. But this is when we have to do all the work. So once I actually do the work, I'll take you back through here so you can see how pretty it looks. Because now it's kind of looking like a weedy mess. And I like my gardens to be a weedy mess because it confused the pests, but there's a limit. We just don't want it to become too much of a pest. Come here, Betsy. This is our new dog. This is Betsy. You know, you ever watch like 2004 YouTube, you know, or 2005 or whatever, when people are like, hey guys, I'm gonna show you how I grew my garden. Hey Fluff, how are you, Fluff? It's nice to see you, Fluff. And then they show you their pets. I'm not gonna do that. Betsy, get out of here. Go ahead, that's enough. Betsy was a mongrel that adopted us. She wandered down the side of the highway, and I think she was looking for a place with kids, and she's been a super good dog. She's actually our food forest guard dog. At night she chases the deer out, which is hugely helpful, and she doesn't kill the chickens. So, hey, it's great. Anyhow, thanks for joining me. I'll show you the way this looks later as we get it a little prettier, but I've been a little short on video content, so this will have to suffice for now. And you can see, at least I can tell you what we're doing. I can tell, not show, which is what they say to do in all of the good writing books. So anyhow, if you want to learn more about grocery row gardening, I'll put a link to the book below. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
Discover the beauty and efficiency behind grocery row gardening. Create a backyard where fruits, herbs, vegetables, and flowers all grow together within proper spacing. In grocery row gardening, you'll find the tools and systems you need to keep your family fed.
Buried my rabbit beneath the cherry tree one fine afternoon. Someday I know that we'll meet again on a fruit salad spoon. Laid my hamster to rest last night beneath the pumpkin vine.
Bonus feature. Let's pull this sweet potato. Look at that. Man, it's thriving. Ground is hard as a rock over here. Maybe I already pulled the sweet potato and this is just what's left in the ground. Guys, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more incredible gardening content. Next time, maybe you can watch me pull up dandelions and not mention that they're edible. Look at that. This could feed a family for a week. A family of mice. Where's the actual? There's got to be an actual potato in here. Come on. This is exciting. Quality content. Hit the bell. Buy my course. My sweet potato digging course. It's $99.99, but you also have a members area. You can get results like this.